Hey guys, Trent at Black Horse Ranch here. We're out in the shop and we got a whole bunch of stuff piled over here. This is all stuff that where some of it's storage, but some of it is stuff that we need to keep to put in our guest barn. And there's a few odds and ends, rolls of wires, that kind of stuff that belongs out here in the shop. But it's been sitting down here taking up a bay, making it impossible for us to do stuff over there. And so we are going to extend the loft up the top there. So we've got all this space up here that we're not using. And we're going to extend on this back part all the way to the corner. And then over here we're just going to come out 4 feet because we have all this extra wood that we got here. From some of the stuff we took down in the barn that we're not going to reuse out there. Underneath this stack of plywood is my vehicle lift, and though I don't have an air compressor strong enough to lift our truck up there, I did have a Camaro on there, and we basically lifted it up between the rafters, so I don't want to block off this area here. So we're going to lay out the joists up there, and then we'll lay out these joists up here, and we'll come all the way across the wall. I don't have my joist hangers yet, which are those little metal guys there. They're on order. They're supposed to be here this coming week. But what we can do is lay everything out so we know where to put the joists, and then I can nail this ledger on this wall over here. And then we'll be ready for our joist hangers when they get here. So what we're going to do first, I've got this laser, grade laser, and what we're going to do is I have this old closet rod with a 2x4 screwed onto the top of it. So we want to get the top of that truss joist there so we know where the ledger board should be on that back wall. And so I've got this hanging there, and I will mark the laser line on this rod, and then I've got this sensor that can align on the mark, and then it can attach to the rod. And then I'll go over to that wall and I'll unscrew that block off the top of that closet rod, and I'll get this sensor beeps when you're right at the right spot. And so I'll get that closet rod so that the top is in the right spot. This sensor will beep, and then I'll mark, and then we'll get a straight line across there, across the top. So I don't think you can see it on the camera, but I can see the laser line right here. And so I'm going to attach this so that the laser line is right in the middle of that mark there, that gauge. And then I should be able to turn this on, and we should be able to get a tone. So I've got my marks on the wall. I've got one over there. You can't see them on the camera, but I've got 2 marks all the way down. And these 2x6s that I have are 16 feet. So one will go almost all the way down, and then we'll have to cut another one. But I'm going to align it with the top of this one, which is the existing platform. But if you look under here, you can see that nail right there. That is where the stud in the wall is. And so I want to have something to support the joist, or the ledger board up there, while I'm nailing the other end. And so since this is going to be a one-man job, I'm going to take this board. I've put a couple of screws in, and basically I'll put it up here. I don't want to put it all the way up to the bottom of that board because different wood can be different thicknesses depending on how long it's had to age and all that kind of stuff, humidity and everything. So I'll just put this board down here, and basically this board will hold one end while I nail the other end, and then I'll come over here and make this board the right height to match this floor. So we'll do that, and Then we'll try to figure out where the stud's at down there on the rest of the wall, and we'll cut our board to length, and then we'll get putting it up here. So I used a magnet to find where the screws and the nails in the stud were, and I put a nail in right there. And I wanted to find the middle of the stud so that when I end my board, I'm not taking up the whole stud. So I popped a couple of holes in either direction. You can kind of see my line up there. But what I found is that that might be the bottom cord of the truss. So there might only be studs above and below that, which is fine. And then we can have that truss to nail onto basically all the way across there. So I'll use that nail as a measuring point, and then I might check a little bit more because I might not have to cut my 16-foot board at all. Now the reason I think I might have to cut it is just because this board sticks out from where that stud is. It sticks out a good 4 or 5 inches or something. So it's not quite at the middle of the stud. So I just want to be sure I'm hitting as I go along here. So I might check and see if I've got something behind that most of the way, and if I do, then we don't have to worry about studs. So I did a little more poking around here, and I was hitting those nail holes up above my nail there. I was hitting, basically there's another hole, and that top hole, another hole, another hole. I basically hit all the way along there. There's my mark. That should be the top of the ledger board. And I think I'm hitting a top plate of, they must have built a wall inside of here. But as soon as I came down below those lines, like in this run right here, I missed. There's nothing behind there. So if I did that and I just used that top plate, I would just have nails along the top of my ledger, which I don't want to do. So I poked around a little bit more, and that nail, where it is right there, is I think right in the middle of the stud that carries the top plate. If I go to that left hole, it misses the stud, and the right hole also misses the stud. So I will measure from that nail, and I'll cut my ledger board that long. So I'll hook my tape measure on that nail, and then I'll measure down to the other end. Okay, so we got it up there. It's nailed at both ends and then in the middle or above that door. So now we just need to finish nailing it off, and then we'll get the last little piece cut up there. And I think the corner, the slope of the roof comes down and doesn't let the 2x6 ledger go all the way to the corner, so we'll probably have to cut a little angle on it. But we'll go ahead and do that.